Hello, my name is Nines, and today we're playing Cateau. So, I know I've been, kind of absent for a week or two. That was because a lot of stuff came up, and I was getting really busy, and I didn't have time to record or edit, and I didn't want to produce shit content. But I'm back, and because my brain didn't feel like playing Minecraft today, we're gonna be playing this cute little free game about making friends with cats. It's, you can find it on Steam. I don't know if I'll link it or not, but let's get into it. New game. Okay. This is just how to play it. What is my name? My name is Nines. Okay. Paris is truly a sight to behold. I can't get used to it, even having lived here for most of my life. The sign parting the city in two, the smell of baked goods in the morning, and the buildings filled with history. Even so, living here alone could maybe be a bit mundane, but I don't have to. I share an apartment with my old friend Roselle, who studies veterinary medicine of some sort. I don't get to spend much time with her as my job's working the evening shift at a small newspaper. Speaking of which, I have to let her know I'll be heading out to the office for the night in a bit. I knock on her door, waiting a few seconds before entering. Hey Ro, how you doing? I'm alright, Nines. And you? All good. Just wanted to let you know I'll be leaving for work in a few. Ask about today. So, what have you been up to? Not much. School? Yeah. Worked from home. She doesn't seem to go anywhere. How about we clean up here tomorrow? It's been a while since we did something together. It's okay, I'll do it later. But thank you for the offer. Something else, then? She glances at the clock above the door behind me. Shouldn't you be going soon? You'd wind up late in not too long, right? I'm good on time, actually, but it might be time to break it off. You might be right. I'm off then. I'll pass by the baker's, too. Is there anything you'd like? No, I'm good. Alright then. See you. I leave her to her own and head for the door. Before leaving, I pat my pockets, realizing that I'm forgetting something. Ro, have you seen my keys? The ones with the cork? Have you looked in the kitchen? I check and find them on the countertop. I always forget to check there. Good thing she still keeps tabs on me, even if things are different now. Thanks, bye. Oh, there's a little Mario up there. I didn't even realize. Man, how lucky am I to have a view like this going to work. I think to myself as my feet patter against the rounded stones of the old town path. In the shade by the wall, I spot a cat, looking every bit as scruffy as the water looks serene. Oh, Roselle'd love this if she were here. She always used to chase after cats, patiently gain their trust, and befriend them like some sort of cat whisperer. Whenever successful, which was almost always, she'd memorialize the occasion by having a picture taken, like a big game hunter of old posing with her quarry. I kinda miss that side of her. Maybe a picture of my own would remind her of the good old days. The thought stops me in my tracks, and I study the cat in question. It's just sitting there, gazing over the water as if saying, "Yep, I rule this place." Which, in fairness, it probably did, by the looks of things. Oh, look at the time. I notice I have plenty of it. I could at least try to get her a picture. What could possibly go wrong after all? But how should I approach? Better take it slow here. Slow and steady wins the race. And after all, I'm not the sorcerer's cat whisperer Roselle. I'd hate to spook it now from what was clearly, even to me, a favorite spot of theirs. Not that this cat looks particularly skittish. It has a very, well, proud bearing. Hello there, kitty. I speak softly while closing the distance. When I'm merely a few meters away, it gives me a casual glance out of the corner of its eye. I get the idea and stop. Satisfied with my response, it resumes watching over the still water. I could easily just take a picture of the cat's back and call it a day, but my professional pride berates me for even considering such a notion. It may not be the cuddliest cat in the world, but I will get a good photo one way or another. The cat seems to rather enjoy the view of the water. Ever so slowly, I walk up to the edge, maintaining a respectful distance to the cat, and sitting down with my legs crossed. The late summer's evening sun, shrouding the city in a pink glow, not even the faintest breeze disrupting the mirror-like surface of the water. I glance at the cat. It's basking in the sun with closed eyes, savoring the warmth. The moment is here. With careful, deliberate movements, I fish my phone out of my pocket and lean in for a picture. The picture perfectly captures the serenity of the scene. Not wishing to disturb the cat any longer, I get up and walk away. Oh, look at that. Lemon. The reply comes through so fast it feels like I got it before I even sent the message. That's a gorgeous photo. The cat looks like a stray. How'd you manage to get so close? Tell me. I just took my time with it. I took a page from your book. Gotta learn from the best. The best? Wouldn't go that far, but thanks. Did it take long to get to that point? Not really. Didn't seem to mind me being in the vicinity as long as it could keep track of me and I did nothing hasty. Strays are often kinda chill if you don't bother them. Be careful though, they can be unpredictable. Yeah, I kinda got that vibe, yeah. I will be. I almost forgot. Thanks for the picture. I think I'll make that my new home screen on my phone. Good chat, Ro, but I need to hurry up now. Lost more time than I thought here. Go to work. Oh. Such good music. Work went by as usual, and it was over in no time. Dawn is looking around the corner as I'm heading for the bakery. All the little shops are closed, but the bakers are already at their battle stations, churning out their goods for the breakfast rush in the coming day. Thanks to having friends in high places, also known as the owner, I'm allowed to sneak in through the back door and get my grubby hands on bread early. Roselle said she didn't want any, but I'll get her some just in case she changes her mind. Besides, you can never have too much bread. Damn right. As I leave the bakery with my precious baked goodness, I notice a cardboard box next to the door, which is apparently the residence of a charmingly fat cat sleeping inside. Oh, look at the little tongue. Clearly it's being cared for to some extent as the floor is draped with a cozy-looking blanket, and somebody's made it a little roof to keep the rain out. Is it a new tenant on the street, or am I selectively blind and it's always been here? I can't recall. Looking around, the nearby area is strangely littered with glass jars too. Inspired by the success of the earlier cat encounter, I decide to add to further glory by attaining a second triumphant moment, one to make Roselle the cat whisperer proud. I drop my bag and crouch down next to the sleeping cat, or what I thought was a sleeping cat. It opens an eye and looks down at me lazily. Alright, cat, make your move. I say with the exaggerated voice of a movie gunslinger, waiting to let the cat take the first action, not wishing to pressure it in any way. In a shocking display of Herculean effort, the cat opens a second eye and looks at me with a steady gaze. Look at the toe beans! I can't help but feel like it's trying to assess me. Playing along for a quiet laugh to myself, I strike a pose, showing my good side. Well, if such a thing exists. A few seconds pass before it gets up, lacking any semblance of urgency. It jumps down with the grace of a drunken baboon, landing on its feet seemingly more by blind luck than any skill on its part. It comes over to me, rubbing up against my legs with a quiet purr. Well, aren't you a friendly little thing? Giving it a few pats along the back before I go, I start to make my way home to that bed, which I'm now longing for. At least, that was the theory. A very persistent furry friend demands more attention, constantly getting in my way, protesting my attempts to leave very efficiently indeed. I can't deny that it's a very charming thing. As it is, I can't really get a good shot of the cat. It's either at a bad angle or too close to the camera. I need to gain some space. Try the selfie camera? Maybe I don't need to create distance. I fumble with my pocket as I continue petting the cat with the other hand. In the position I'm sitting in, it's difficult to get it out of my pocket, and I struggle for a moment. Finally, I prevail against these insurmountable odds, place the camera in front of us, and snap a bunch of photos, hoping that at least one wouldn't be a blurry mess of a disaster. I go through them quickly, and there's one close-up of the cat's face that didn't end up looking like the photo was taken from inside a tumble dryer. It'll have to make do. A few more cuddles later, I manage to extricate myself from the situation and start off in the direction of home. Oh, look at that face. Look at that face. It's so chubby. Oh. Well, perhaps not the best interaction on my part. This picture turned out kind of great. Wow, how'd you manage to take this one? After many trials and tribulations, I managed to nab it in the end. That and approximately 42,372 others that turned out rubbish, but that's besides the point. I bet. Did you get along well? Kind of. Not bad. Not great, I don't think. I was thinking of trying to feed it. That could work. Just don't give it raw fish or something. That could make it sick. Yeah, don't worry, I won't. Oh, look at the little Mario. I always thought pictures of the Eiffel Tower were solely for people not living in France. What a day. Keychain rattling in my hand, I unlock the door, shutting it behind me. Dumping the bag on the floor by the wall and trudging over to the kitchen for a bite to eat before bed. I trundle past Rose's door. Shut, as always. Just a faint blue light leaking through the doorframe. She must be on the laptop again. Finally arriving at the counter, I have myself a few pieces of fresh loaf before dragging myself into the living room and to the TV. Flopping into the couch, I watch whatever happens to be on, lazily munching away. I need to eat some bread soon. There's a documentary about life on the African savannah. It'd be just her thing. After a few minutes of deliberation, I get up, going to Rose's room, and gently knocking on her door. Hey, Ro, you up? Yeah, Nines, what is it? Can I come in? Sure. Why don't you come hang out with me? There's a wildlife special on. There's lions and everything, just like we always used to catch. There's a few moments of silence. I'd rather not. I want to be alone. Knowing when not to overstay my welcome, I wish her a good night before gently closing the door and heading back to the couch. Those little cat clocks always freaked me out. I don't know why. Never having been one for sitting around, come afternoon I treat myself to a walk. Some might think that walking is a bit of a peculiar treat, but in a city like Paris it really is. There's always something beautiful to see, something exciting to discover. I've been walking around the city virtually every day for years, and it still never bores me. On the contrary, it helps to sludge writer's block and distract me from other woes. Wait, does walking really help that? My god, I need to walk more. One of the streets and spots I always come back to, though, is this old little street passing by the small park. The trees happen to make for a great spot to just get away from the sun on a hot day. An added bonus. Oh, I read that wrong. An added bonus. There we go. Suddenly, I spot an orange fuzz in the periphery, and I instinctively know it's a cat. It's funny, the things that you notice once you're actively looking for them. Well, it's either that or I've been afflicted with cat-engineered nanomachines altering my perception, which in all honesty is a touch unlikely. Oh, I wanna hold you. I wanna cuddle you so bad. Rather than a full-grown cat, this one's a mere kitten, playing with the leaves beneath a tree. Playtime is disrupted, however, when a pedestrian tramples by, startling the little creature. After having taken cover by the tree for a while, it tentatively returns to its game, soon blissfully distracted. I'd love to join in, but I don't want to frighten it again either. Oh, I don't know. It's a shy cat. So, let didn't know. Considering how that person storming by scared the... I'm sorry. I walked closer carefully, with slow deliberate movements, quietly calling out to it. Hey little friend, don't be afraid. Turns out kittens don't do too well in the whole hearing comprehension front. It curls up into a small nervous bundle. Don't be scared, I'm a friend. I stopped for a while, giving it some time to realize that I wasn't going to stampede by or do it any harm. Clearly anxious due to my presence, I need to do something to break the ice. Maybe I can get across my friendliness through a casual conversation? I go on to tell the kitten about my day, the cat by the canal, my night shift at work, and about the other cat by the cafe. While facing in the general direction of the cat, I don't look directly at it, trying to communicate that I'm no threat to it. I cast a quick glance at it, and the kitten is watching me carefully, but seems less withdrawn, more curious. Oh, shit. It's okay, don't be afraid. Oh, I should have done the play with the stick. I crouched down, slowly extending my hand, but not so that I touched the cat, trying to coax it to come out of its shell to me on its own accord. This approach is getting me nowhere, leaving the initiative in my hands. Ever so slowly, I reach further, but just as I'm about to give it a reassuring pat on the head, it bolts off behind the safety of the tree trunk. Realizing that I've botched this quite badly, I decide to cut my losses here to avoid leaving even worse of an impression. I want to redo this now, because I did it all wrong. Getting my phone out. Take a quick photo. Oh. Okay, yeah. I'm redoing this. I felt so bad about this, but that's what these are for. It's funny this thing's... Okay, I'm gonna skip through this because we've already gone through this. Oh, such a cute art style and such good music. If it's unaware of my presence, then surely it can't be scared, right? Whenever the kitten's distracted by its play, I approach with soft, quiet steps, gradually making my approach. At a short distance away, the kitten stops, looking directly at me, which would likely indicate that it's now aware of me. I avoid looking directly at it, acting as if I don't know it's there at all. The kitten doesn't resume playing, but it doesn't appear to be terrified or even particularly bothered by me either. Trying to build its trust. I should try to build its trust. Well, that's obviously a rather playful sort. Maybe that helped me befriend it. The tree beside us has kindly enough dropped a twig on the ground that looks like it could double as a cat toy. Picking it up, I give it a try, drawing a figure 8 in the air. But I've never played with a cat. Sure, it can't be too complicated, but how I should go about it is still a question that needs answering. With the kitten being easily scared, I feel like it would be detrimental to be too aggressive. Instead, I start with the stick some ways off, starting slow and careful, adding speed when changing directions. The kitten's eyes are soon set on the tip of the twig and following it curiously. With the kitten's attention, I dare go closer, and as the stick passes by, it swats after the stick with its paw. Resume! Sorry about that. Got a phone call. With the kitten's attention, I dare go closer, and as the stick passes by, it swats after the stick with its paw. Oof, sorry, my mic got moved away. Another gentle swoosh of the stick, and the kitten jumps in, chasing the toy to its full extent. It pounces on it and holds it down with its claws. No, sorry. I let it have its victory before carefully jiggling it out of its grip. The kitten's eyes are brimming with light. It is something Roselle must see. I fumble with my free hand as I continue to distract the kitten with the twig. I manage to get a hold of my phone, turn the camera on, and get the picture taken. Instead of taking my leave right away, we play some more. But a group of loud youngsters startle it again, and it scurries off. I'd love to meet it again. Oh, look at its face! Oh, I love kittens so much. I love cats in general. They're my favorite animal. With not a small sense of pride, I relay the brilliant image to Ro. Clearly, I'm not the only one to recognize its quality. That has to be the cutest thing I've seen in ages. I know, never spent as much time with cats or other critters as you have, but it's easy to see the appeal now. Hell yeah. They're lovely, aren't they? Such an adorable little kitten, with the bell and everything. Wish I had a cat like that. Reminds me of my first one when I was a kid. If that cat was anything like this one, it's easy to understand your obsession. I'll be home soon. I can see her begin to type, then stop, erase, and type again. This goes on for a little while until the word okay shows up. A bit underwhelming maybe, but at least I roused her for a little while. cat is by the door, pushing whatever she deems fit under the crack in it. When I get home, I enter Rose's room. I just wanted to let you know I'll be visiting the bakery lunchtime tomorrow. I need to grab a cake for Rico from Work's birthday. If you want to come along, I'm sure the cat will be there. I think I'll rather stay here. They say it's going to be very hot out tomorrow. But if you do see it, you know the rule, right? Right. When you see a cat for a second time, you must name it. I remember. I'll head out again and go to work soon. Good luck. When down by the canal, I keep an eye out for the scruffy cat, but I don't run into it again. Such a shame. Work turns out like usual, pretty uneventful. I've been in a house before that has like 20 of these clocks. It's so weird. After some well-deserved sleep, I head out to grab that cake. To be honest, I'm more excited at the chance of seeing that cat again than to celebrate my coworker. I should get the cat something. It looks like one that would appreciate something edible. I take a quick detour to a grocery store and I quickly find myself in the small pet aisle. I have no idea what the cat likes, and the picture of the jars littered around its bed pop into my mind. Maybe they contained something it likes, but I can't quite remember what label it had. What should I buy? Glass jar, glass jar. What on earth could a glass jar have that'd be of interest to a cat? Probably not mushrooms, that's for sure. Some seafood, perhaps? Shrimp, most likely. I can't for the life of me recall what the label had on that jar, but surely this couldn't work out too badly. Shrimp are fantastic. But just in case it doesn't enjoy the glory of shrimp, I grab a small bag of cat treats as well. This chubby little cat is definitely gonna enjoy shrimp. When I reach the bakery, I find the cat resting in its makeshift bed, yet again. Good afternoon to you, cat. The cat looks at me as if saying, afternoon, without moving very much at all in its cozy little nook. I can't ever recall seeing any living thing so visibly content with everything. Ro would absolutely adore this cat. As her apprentice, I must follow her word and give it a name. Is there a... Oh no, I was gonna name him Hercules Mulligan. Well, just Hercules will do, and the Mulligan will be there in spirit. I'm gonna name all these cats after Hamilton stuff. Does Hercules work for you, buddy? Hercules half yawns, half meows. That's close enough to approval for me. I wonder if it'll approve of my choice of snack to the same extent. Getting the lid out of the way, we go fishing for shrimp, catching one, shaking off some of the water, before handing it to Hercules. The shrimp quickly grabs its attention, sniffing the food. It gives it a lick before biting, causing me to drop it. I'd prefer keeping my fingers, so I leave it to Hercules. Hercules devours the small crustacean, and then continues to look around the bed for more. I grab another shrimp, making sure the cat sees it, and Hercules reaches out a paw to try and grab it. I give it to the cat, but I feel inspired to try something out. I could have an opportunity here to make Hercules earn the snacks. It would actually be kind of cool if I could teach Hercules a trick. So, what should I attempt to teach it? Aw, I'd love to see Hercules sit pretty. It should be possible since the cat really likes its treats. I pick one up, reaching out to Hercules so it knows it's there, before I hold it up above the cat. It looks at my hand, and I see the urge to jump after it search the cat's body. It twitches in the treat's direction, and one paw is slightly lifted. I tease by moving the treat in a circle, and call out to the cat. It's enough to make Hercules stand up on its hind legs and hug my hand with its front paws. The cat tries to smell out an opening to the treat, and I grant the cat a well-earned one. I pick up another and dangle it above the cat. Its gaze breaks from the morsel to look at me, and the cat gives me its best, "Are you kidding me this again?" look. It would appear Hercules doesn't much appreciate me making it partake in such a strenuous activity. I pet the cat's head to make up for my preposterous proposal, which does seem to work. At risk of overfeeding the cat, it's probably wise to reward its effort in another way rather than giving it more food. I did this before, No, oh, okay. I didn't mean to click that. I went to go... A nice belly rub should do the trick. I pet it over the head and eventually it rolls onto its back, and I try to pet the rather massive belly. Hercules responds with a pleased sound, stretching in such a manner that its legs are extended over the side of the box. I've never quite realized how big a cat can get. Any more stretching and Hercules could obscure the horizon. Who's a good cat? Hercules lies perfectly still, earning a thorough belly rub. I realized that I had already spent much more time with Hercules than I had intended, and I need to pick up that cake already. Hesitantly, I give Hercules a last pet on the head before saying my goodbyes and escaping into the bakery. It's bustling with more activity than usual. When the owner scurries by, I receive the great news. Business has been going well, and they were moving to a new, bigger place not too far away. I congratulate her, apologize for not having much time to chat before taking my leave, cake in hand. Okay. A lot of this is like, as I'm sorry if I don't get the right tone down with these words, but like I'm like reading it as I go a lot of the time, so I'm like, oh, blah 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 blah. Oh shit, that's not the right tone. I'm home. Unlike the usual silence, Ro calls for me. Nines, can you come over for a minute? When had she last been the one to call out to me? That's something I haven't considered being a possibility in a very long time. I walk over to her room. Yes? Roselle plays with her hands as if she's unsure of how to bring up the subject. Thank you for the photos. They were nice. However... Yes? That kitten... was there anyone with it? No, it was alone, I think. Isn't that strange? For a kitten to be all alone? I mean... I guess, but it had a collar, so it might just live nearby. She doesn't look convinced. You know what? I'll see if I spot it on my walk and make sure. That would be great. Do you want to come see it? I can see how she considers it. How her brows furrow and her eyes trace the crevices of the floorboards. It might get scared with yet another stranger around. Best you go alone. Scared of frightening it? That's not an excuse I've ever heard from Roselle, the great cat whisperer. Maybe this case is a little bit more delicate, but it's not like the kitten trusts me either. However, if she doesn't want to, I can't force her. I'll just do my best then. Wish me luck. Good luck. Hold on. Empowered by her blessing, I head out. Just before leaving, I put the cake in the fridge and make my way to the old pedestrian street again. I'm surprised to see the kitten sitting next to the tree, just like it had the other day. It feels a little strange to find such a young cat out here all alone again. I'd like to have a closer look at its collar. It might have a number or an address on it. Oh, I can't with that face. Oh. The kitten is sitting next to the tree trunk looking at the passerby. It looks healthy, so somebody must be feeding it at least. I really hope that I'm just overthinking it. From our last meeting, I know I should be careful when I approach it. No sudden movements or sounds that will scare it. Having made my approach, I'd speak to it softly, trying to get its attention. Hey, little friend. We need a proper name for you too, don't we? Okay, let's see if this fits. John Lawrence. Yes! If you haven't noticed a theme here, I'm going for Hamilton names. Yeah. John Lawrence works. I mean, that cat kind of reminds me of Anthony Ramos, right? I just want to see the long, pretty cat again. Because I know exactly what I'm going to name him. John Lawrence. What do you think of that? The kitten glances at me with big eyes, which I decide to be in approval. This reminds me that I still have cat treats in my pocket. Maybe John Lawrence will like them? But I'm not the only one with eyes for the kitten. A kid separates from his mother's hand to chase the kitty. John Lawrence runs away, but in my direction. I can't let it get away. It's probably for the best to let it run. The kid's caught by his mother, so I don't have to worry about him anymore. I follow the kitten around the corner and find it hiding in a doorway. Its body is pressed into the corner, and its eyes watch me carefully. The ordeal has gotten me pretty close. Maybe I have a chance here? Well, there's no twigs to use for play, and even if there were, I'm not sure that that'd be a good idea. Maybe a bite to eat would help the little creature feel at ease. My situation isn't exactly what I'm used to, but I believe in the versatile powers of food. I crouch down and toss the treat carefully so it lands next to the kitten. It snaps its eyes on the new object and sniffs the air. When it's convinced it won't move again, it sneaks up on the treat and eats it. When finished, it sniffs around the ground for more. I throw another one, and the projectile makes John Lawrence shy away before quickly returning to eat the food. I throw the treats closer and closer to me so John Lawrence can get within reach. However, John Lawrence becomes aware of that and grows more careful approaching the treats, backing away when I just grabbed it. It's a slow process, but I get the kitten close enough. I slowly pick out a few treats and place them on my palm. I extend my hand slightly in front of me, making sure the kitten can see them. John Lawrence looks at them, but hesitates, so I throw one of them halfway between us. The kitten crouches down and sneaks up to the treat, carefully watching me. After snacking on the nearest treat, it looks curiously at my hand, stretching its head out. It takes a reluctant step towards me, and I have to stay completely still. Movementless like a statue, a gargoyle on Notre Dame. Or Notre Dame, sorry. Or maybe not a gargoyle. They come to life, right? As John Lawrence gets closer, it grows braver and walks up to the last steps to smell my hand. I feel its whisker tickle my fingertips, but I stay still as the mountain. John Lawrence takes the first treat, and I can clearly hear it snap as it bites into it. One after another, the treats disappear until my hand is empty. I know John won't like it, but I'll still have to grab it to check its collar. My hand eases closer and picks the kitten up. I quickly press it against my chest to stabilize it. John Lawrence tenses up as soon as I touch it. John tenses up as soon as I touch him, but feels slightly calmer after a few seconds in my bosom. Bosom. There you are. Such a good kitty. I try to soothe the kitten and gently stroke it with my thumb. When it's calm, I put it on my Oh! I can't! Oh, look at that face! Oh! I want to take you home! Yeah, I'm gonna make so much art after this. I have inspiration now. When it's calm, I place it on my lap to check the collar. John Lawrence meows, and I find a phone number that I write down on my phone. When that's done, I loosen my grip and stroke the kitten gently to make it forget my manhandling. Then I have to let go and John Lawrence scurries away, but I don't think we're back on square one. I leave some treats on the ground in case it comes back and leave. Oh boy, I'm tired. As soon as I get home, I walk into Rose's room. I got a number. John had one on its collar. Oh, and I followed your rule. I named him. I also forgot to mention that I named the bakery cat as well. It's Hercules. What are we waiting for? Call it. I type in the number and let the signals go by. They go on for longer and longer. No answer? Doesn't appear so. I'll have to try again later. Well, keep me updated. I will. Time to go to work. I try to call a few more times. Eventually I give up and head out for work. Alexander Hamilton. Oh, I should have named him Lafayette. Not, Lawrence. I should have named Hercules Lafayette. There are slow news days, and then there's dead news days. I need to get something published today or my boss will get on my case. Might as well have a stroll and see if I can at least find something worth writing about. The city, beautifully lit in the dark as I find my way down to the towpath, is probably one of the prettiest spots around here. Another advantage it has going for it is the fact that, for some arcane reason, almost nobody ever goes there, rendering it a quiet place for thoughts to be had. Hang on a moment, what's that sound? My pondering is interrupted by aggressive growling and a tremendous noise near the bridge. My curiosity is getting the better of me, and I silently walk over to check the source of the racket. In glow of the lamplight, there's a group of cats staring at each other, hissing and swatting their paws. 4 of them seem to be working together against a somewhat larger, rougher-looking one. Could it be the same one as from the other day? Here he is. It looks like it, and it appears to be in trouble. 4 against 1 is hardly sporting, so why not even the odds a little bit? I have a bottle of water in my bag, and I'm not afraid of using it. I run out the scuffle. Hey! They don't pay me much heed, though. I unscrew the cork of my doomsday device and unleash a raging torrent at the cats. Well, at least as much of a raging torrent as a bottle would allow. While my aim is not perfect, I do manage to hit the 4 upstarts, but the older cat ends up being collateral damage in the process. The youngsters dart into the night, hissing with displeasure, and the remaining cat stays with me. It stands alert and stares at me with those piercing eyes. Oh, such a pretty kitty. So cool. I love the designs in this game. They're such beautiful cats. I can't say it looks particularly happy at the present. Breaking eye contact with a nod, it starts to clean off the water with its tongue. Huh. Maybe the cat's at least a little bit appreciative for the help. It's hard to tell, and that leaves me feeling like both the conquering hero and the ill-willed villain. In the end, I think it does know that I was trying to help. I stay for a good while, making sure that the pack of rascals don't return. In the meantime, I should come up with a name for it. Do I go with Alexander Hamilton? Alexander Hamilton? A. Ham? Oh, it's so hard. Ham Man? We'll just go with Alexander. More time passes before I address the cat in a relaxed tone. Okay, Alexander. Time for me to go. I've got work to do, but I'll see you around. I turn around and continue on my way down along the canal. A few moments later, I notice a shadow out of the corner of my eye by my left foot. Looking down, I find that Alexander has decided to come along. We follow the canal in silence, a feeling of mutual respect in the air. Maybe we have some things in common after all. After a few more minutes goes by, the cat stops, sitting by the water once again. I feel oddly compelled to find a justification for staying here. Oh, still have a few treats left, so I fished them out of my pocket and crouched down, offering them from my hand. Alexander looks at me with a spark of suspicion glinting in the eye, not making any move to approach. I throw a treat between us in case it doesn't want to get close to me. He walks up to the treat with a scowling expression and swats it dismissively into the water below. Note to self, Alexander really doesn't like cat treats. Well, if cats don't like these things, why even bother lugging them around? I weigh a treat in my hand, feeling its weight and shape. I calculate the perfect skip toss in my mind, before reeling back, my whole body following into the throw, and I unleash the treat with a flawless timing. It cuts through the air with purpose, its destination preordained, the outcome already determined. With a graceful arc, it drops out of the air, maybe 2 feet away, hits the surface, and sinks with an undignified plop. Alexander does show signs of amusement, and thusly encouraged, I repeat the procedure until I run out of sweets, the last one managing to skip maybe a centimeter or so. While certainly not the smoothest of friendships, I get the feeling Alexander is at least somewhat less indifferent towards me. Alex and I would have to part ways for now, but I'm looking forward to meeting it again. Once back at work, inspiration hits me. I could always write a little piece about the issue of abandoned cats around the city. After all, I never noticed before, so bringing it to light might result in some good. That's definitely a good idea. Okay. Returning home in the morning, I met with a surprise. I looked through my pockets for my keys, only to find none. Oh, I must have dropped them somewhere. With resignation, I knocked steadily on the door. A short while later, Roselle opens it with a surprised look on her face. She looks tired. I'm not sure if I woke her up or not. I dropped my keys. Oh, I'll have to go looking for them after I've had time to sleep. Are you going anywhere? No, not really. With that, we separate into our respective rooms. Go to sleep, I guess. This is such a cute game. I gotta play more of these. I love them. These little free games like this. I go to the bakery during the afternoon this time around, as the bakery won't be open in the weekend due to the move. So this will be the last time I go to this alley. During the walk, I'm sure to keep my eyes peeled in case I drop my keys here, but I'm fairly certain I didn't. I enter the bakery and I'm almost feeling a little nostalgic as I look around. It won't change my routines that much to go to the new place, but I'm a little bit worried about Hercules. I ask the owner about it when she hands me my bread. Will you bring the cat along with you to your new place? The owner gently shakes her head. There's no good place for it to stay at the new bakery, and we can't let it inside. Isn't there anyone that can take it home then? We've tried that, but it got really angry and anxious when we tried to carry it away. It really likes it with us, but when push comes to shove, we'll have no choice but to force it to. I'm sure it'll work out somehow. Have you seen a pair of keys, by the way? I've dropped them somewhere. I haven't, but I'll be sure to be on the lookout. The owner smiles reassuringly and continues on with work. I leave the bakery feeling ill at ease. Oh. I walk up to Hercules and I notice that it looks a bit uneasy, but cheers up to me some when it sees me. The cat must know that something's going on. I should at least try to comfort him before I go. Cuddles are the best cure for anxiety. I sit down next to its little bed and reach out my hand to caress its head. Hercules closes its eyes, purring, and we sit like that for a while. I can't leave Hercules without anyone caring for him. It feels weird to think of the cat being anywhere else but here in the back alley. This is his home. I keep a close eye on the cat. He's looking much happier after some cuddling. A thought starts to play in my mind. What if I could take Hercules home with me? Hercules seems like a cat that would like most people. Sure, that might be a presumption, but I feel like we have a little bit of a special bond. I've gotten better with cats, I think, and I know Roselle owned cats in the past, so we'd be able to care for it. Our apartment is big enough, and my income isn't too bad. It could be doable. No, it's entirely doable. Let's try it out. It'll depend on if Hercules likes me or the bakery more entirely. Hercules inches closer to my hand and snuggles close to it. Oh, Hercules, you lovely fat cat. I stroke him gently with my free hand. I roll up my sleeves and crack my knuckles, a quiet joke to myself. The charm blitzes on, and there's no escaping it. I'll make Hercules a happy, not-so-little cat. I begin by scratching behind the cheeks. I run my fingers through the thick fur and give him a scratch from ears to the chin. I move my hands down to the chest and neck, digging into the fluffy chest hair. When I scratch the fur over its shoulders, I notice its front paws claw at the quilt under it in comfort. The cat rolls over, exposing its tummy, and I give Hercules a proper belly rub. Hercules must feel spoiled to bits after that. The cat remains on its back, eyes closed, but then gives me a glance. The lick seems to say, "Oh, you finished already? Weren't you supposed to be feeling bad?" Hercules chases after my hand, demanding to receive more pets, even though I've been at it for minutes already. When I don't immediately comply, it looks at me with those puppy eyes. Oh, no, don't give me those eyes. Don't give me those eyes. It makes me want to hold you forever. Hercules certainly seems to want to keep me around, but is that enough for it to be willing to follow me home? I'd like to give the cat a little test to see. Would Hercules voluntarily follow me out of this alley if I just called for it? Could hardly hurt to try. I give the cat a last pet on its head and then walk away, not stopping before I reach the next street. Not that far of a distance really, but it can be for a small cat. I make eye contact with Hercules and he eyes me nervously. Without breaking it, I crouch down and reach out with a hand. Come here, Hercules. I click my tongue, and he watches me lazily. I call out to him again, but I don't receive even as much as a blink back. Hercules seems to have no intention of making its way over here, even for pets. It's way too much work. After a while, I just had to give up. Hercules won't come over. I walk back over to the bed and resume the petting, as if apologizing for even suggesting that it should move. Hercules doesn't want to leave, and like the owner, I don't want to force it. The best thing would be for Hercules to stay with the baker somehow, and I think I have an idea growing. I snuggle that cat's cheeks and head back into the bakery. The owner looks up at me with a raised eyebrow. If the cat can't stay behind the store, couldn't it stay in front of it? Maybe, oh god, was that my voice? Did my voice just crack? Maybe it could attract customers. I fiddle with my fingers, unsure of what she'll think of my idea. That might just work. The cat has always loved people, so if we can make it a proper home by the door, then we wouldn't have to force it anywhere either. I call him Hercules, by the way. I've never heard you call him by any name, so I took the liberty of naming him. The owner starts to chuckle. I never got to that. Hercules, you say? It fits strangely well. I bid my goodbye and head out again. I can't spot my keys anywhere, but I can't help but feel cheerful for having found a solution for Hercules. Should have named him Fluffy Dickhead. That would have been funny as shit. Okay, not actually funny, but you know, like, mildly funny. Must have dropped my keys somewhere along the canal, so I'll go there next. What about Sweet John? Don't forget about, oh god. Don't forget about poor Sweet John. As I get into the towpath, it's already becoming dark. I'm placing my hopes on that setting sun will hit the keys just right and make them shine up. I keep my eyes peeled on the ground, making my way back to my workplace along the canal. A hunch makes me look back, and surely I spot Alex following me with silent steps. What's up? I wonder how long it's been doing that. Or why? Possibly to keep an eye on anyone in its turf? The cat keeps stalking me a slight distance, and I ignore it the best I can. My keys are top priority right now. I walk the entire towpath without spotting them. I guess I'll walk back and check some of the busier areas more carefully. I spot that Alexander has stopped following me and is playing something next to the edge of the canal. Oh no. I feel that it's keeping itself entertained. I'm a bit curious to what would interest Alexander. If my keys can wait this long, they can wait a little longer. The cat is sitting right next to the water and is poking at something casually, almost like it doesn't want to admit that it's playing. When I get closer, I get a better look at the object. Wait! Those are my keys Alexander is playing with. I can't believe the cat managed to find them. I don't have the time to take a sigh of relief before the cat pokes the keys so they inch closer to their watery doom. I have to do something quick to prevent a catastrophe from happening. I reach out my hand in front of me, trying to mentally keep the cat still. I hush slightly and walk closer slowly, careful not to agitate him. He looks at me momentarily before losing interest and looks down at the keys again. Now there, Alexander. Let's not be hasty. I watch as paw closes in on the bundle. Alexander! I leap forward, but it's too late. I watch the keys tumble over the edge, and I hear the splash echo in my head. There's no way I can find my keys at the bottom of the canal. I kneel down next to the edge and look down into the blackness. The water's way too dark and deep for me to possibly find my keys. I guess I'll try to get copies for them. Until then, I'll have to coordinate with Roe, get a new lock for my... Something drifts past me and quiets my bustling thoughts. A cork, I determine. What a coincidence, my keychain is a cork. I spurt an emotion to grab it before it drifts any further and pull it out of the water. It's my keys! With them safe in hand, I cast a glance at Alexander, who has been ignoring the whole ordeal and is cleaning its paw. You're lucky this didn't sink, you know. I sigh and lean back to catch a quick break. The sun is still setting, and I got no work tomorrow either, so I can safely stay a little longer and spend some time with Alexander. I make sure to sit comfortably next to the cat, and we both bask in the sun's last moment. I have a feeling that Alexander isn't really much for cuddling or playing, but prefers just the company. I find it really sweet that someone like Alexander would enjoy my company. How far we've gotten. Not a long time ago, it would have been crazy to be this close to Alexander. The cat would probably have killed me. That must mean it trusts me pretty well now. The sun disappears on the horizon, and I reluctantly make the decision that it's time to leave. I hesitate before reaching out my hand and giving Alexander a pat on the head before I stand up. See you around. I turn and start to walk away with steady steps. I walk down the very familiar towpath, I wonder how Roselle is doing at home. After a while, I recognize faint footsteps behind me and turn around to see that Alexander is still following me. What's up? I'm sorry. I shrug, thinking it'll stop eventually, but as I leave the towpath, it's still following me. You coming with me, huh? Alexander responds by following along all the way to my door. This is my stop. Alexander has stopped and is looking at me, waiting. Having said goodbye, I open the door, only for Alexander to waltz on in like he owns the place. Yeah, that sounds like Alex. Alexander immediately starts to investigate the room, walking along all the walls and jumping on the furniture. We'll have to set up house rules eventually if it really wants to stay. Hey Ro, can you come out here for a second? After a moment, Roselle makes her way out of her room, rubbing her eyes. What is it? I look at Alexander, and for the first time, she notices the cat. What? I know, right? It followed me home. Alexander eyes the new human suspiciously from its spot on the sofa. Ro crouches down next to it and starts to work her magic. Doesn't take long for Alexander to soften up to her. I will need to get it some things if it's going to stay here. The shops are closed now, but I can get everything first thing tomorrow. I can make you a list. We should also get it checked by a vet since it's a stray. Yeah. I better love that. Maybe not, but I have to make sure it's healthy. Much has happened today, so I decide to head to bed early and leave them to bond for themselves. Go to sleep. Well, she's got a friend now. That's good. I'm also glad Alex followed me home. Oh, just wait for the next little one. Oh, I can't wait to see John again. I've bought the new things and I'm heading out for my Sunday stroll. By the look of it this morning, Alexander and Roselle are getting along well, so I'm not the slightest bit worried over leaving them alone. As I near the pedestrian street, I peel my eyes, trying to spot a certain kitten. I'll most likely find it in its usual spot, but I don't trust it not to have moved. I see the tree in the distance, and it grows closer as I walk. There's no kitten to be seen. I reach the corner and circle around the tree, but I can't see John anywhere. Maybe it actually got home. If that were to be the case, it would be great. A meow crushes my hopes, and I look around, still not spotting it. The next meow, I can tell, comes from above, and I look up. Oh, poor baby. John Lawrence looks down at me from a high branch up in the tree. What's it doing up there? It doesn't look very safe. I haven't climbed a tree in ages, but I did it some back in the day. Except for the first part, it looks like a pretty easy climb. I look around, finding a wheeled garbage bin around the corner. I'll put it back when I'm done with it, but for now I pull it next to the tree. Careful not to scare the kitten any further, I climb up on the bin. From there, it's not too great of a task to find footing at the lowest branch. I look up and the kitten stares back at me, meowing meekly and visibly scared. Oh, poor baby. Someone must have startled it up here and it doesn't know how to get back down. It looks at me and I'm fairly sure it recognizes me. John Lawrence is scared of the situation, but I see no sign of me being the source of any of its fright. Hey there, John. I talk to it as I slowly make my way up, keeping a close eye on the kitten so that I can stop if it finds my advance unsettling. Luckily, I can find plenty of foot and handholds. John is out on pretty thin branches, but fortunately it stays put. Maybe it knows that I'm here to help it? I continue to talk to it as I advance, and I hear John Lawrence meow weakly. Whenever it's safe to look away from where I'm stepping, I check the kitten and it waits in what appears to be anticipation. I climb until I'm at the same height as John, and it meows loudly while staring at me. It remains stationary, which is good, however it's just a little too far away, out on the thinner branches. Maybe I could lean out far enough to grab it, but if it would come closer on its own, that would be good too. Here, kitty kitty. I tap where I want John Lawrence to go as I call out to it. The kitten watches me with big eyes, and its ear twitches, like it's being indecisive. In the end, it doesn't move. I continue to tap and call out to it again. Come here, kitty. Let's get you down from here. John looks away and then back, and I see one of its paws twitch. I tap more rapidly, and the kitten inches forward a little. Come on, John. You can do it. Slowly it crawls closer, and I continue to encourage it. When it's finally close enough, I make sure I sit well before grabbing it with both hands. John meows loudly, but doesn't put up much of a struggle. I bring it closer to me and pet it reassuringly, before reaching it for my bag. It's probably safer for it to be in there. After all, we both have to get down as well. Luckily, I'm better at that than John Lawrence is, and I make my way back to the fork with ease. I drop down and place my bag on the ground, carefully. I bring the kitten back into my arms, and it's looking fine, just a little tired from today's events. After a few seconds of being safe in my arms on the ground, the kitten falls asleep. I look at it curiously and stroke it gently over its back. Oh. I want to hold a kitten. I'd hold my cat niece, but she's being a brat right now. It's almost surreal. Now I'm faced with what to do next. I rescued John Lawrence from the tree, but I don't want to let go of the kitten again. I don't want to be uncertain whether or not it has a warm place to sleep and food to eat. I'll take it home with me. We can look for its owner, and if we don't find anyone, John will stay with us. Oh. The kitten wakes up just before I get home, but is still sleepy. At the door, I decide to knock and wait. I hear Ro walk across the room, and she opens the door for us. Oh, look at him! Oh, how this place has changed. Oh, look at that little cat. Such a cutie. Surprise! You have to stop just bringing cats home. Think about my heart. I'll try to keep that in mind. Oh, it looks tired. Is it okay? I found it stuck in a tree. It took some time to get him down. Poor thing. How long is it up there for? No idea. Anyway, let's take it to my room and let it rest and eat. We should keep the cats separate for some time too, so they can get used to each other. Cats need some time for that. Will you take John then? I don't want to leave Alexander on his own. She nods, and I carefully hand over the kitten. John looks a little worried at first, but Ro manages to calm him down in no time at all. She leaves, and I throw myself on the sofa, enjoying Alexander's quiet company. Sometime later. Oh, my heart. Look at these cute cats. It took some time before Alexander and John learned to know each other, but now they're inseparable. John sticks to the older cat day and night, and Alexander's starting to look like a proud parent, teaching the kitten everything he knows. Thanks to that and Ro's efforts, we don't have a shy kitten anymore, but a bold, playful young cat that lives its life to the fullest. The cats aren't the only ones that have showed improvement. Roselle's looking much better nowadays. I knock against her door frame before entering. Hey Nines, what's up? Not much, Ro. How was the lecture? It was alright, I suppose. Interesting content, but a bad presenter. Well, ain't that university in a nutshell. Oh yeah, it sure is. That and overpriced course literature. Say, I've got no more studying to do today. I don't suppose you fancy going out on the town? Maybe grab an ice cream or something? You're already done? To think you once had me thinking you'd drop out. It took a lot of work to catch up, so I'm going to do things properly this time. Let's celebrate then. Get that ice cream. Oh, I didn't even know the little cat sticker on the side. So cool. Ro and I say goodbye to the cats, knowing that they'll manage by themselves. We set out on our walk, chatting and enjoying the sun. Ro and I banter, joke, and laugh our way through Paris, just like old times. Oh, this is it. Okay. Well, I usually don't get to the credits of a game, but I just want to say, thank you to all the people who worked on this. This is such an adorable game, and it works. Not works. It looks so beautiful, and just absolutely gorgeous. I'm so happy I got the opportunity to play it. if you like the video and you want to see more, subscribe and you can hit that like button because I need likes on my videos. That'd be lovely. And yeah, my Twitter and my Twitch are linked down below. I haven't been streaming as much, but I plan to get back into it soon, and with this whole, you know, issue going on, I should be able to uh, get some time to start streaming now. My job is one of the few places that hasn't closed, because we don't come in contact with the public as much, but will be, yeah. This is an absolutely lovely game. Have an absolutely wonderful day.